All right, welcome back to the Friends and Family Show. Like always, we're live on ChannelOne TV, and you can check it out on social media as well. Now, here's what. We're talking about losing a friend. I don't know if I'm too, poised or hyper enough to talk about it. I know definitely we're going to delve into that part where it will be solemn and all of that. But I need for you to, sit and probably reflect. Probably you have lost somebody in your life. So when I say a loved one, that means that somebody that's close enough, or a friend. It could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be family, it could be parents, it could be your child. Okay, so we're talking about this. Sometimes we just need to give you a space to actually bring everything out. Putting everything in there gives you headache. So please bring everything out. And you can be part of the show. That is one thing I really want for you to do for me today. You can be part of the show. You can share your experience, how you got out of the grief, how long it took, what you had to do to come out of that situation. So send me a message via WhatsApp on the number 020-444-7033. Don't forget to add your name, darling. Well, my name is Noyo Kwarti, and I'm your host tonight. And I have 3 lovely guests in the studio. I have Nana Kisi, who is an accountant, and he's actually kind of my buddy, so I call him Rolling, because everybody calls him Rolling. Hi, Rolling.
Hi, nah.
So what are we sticking to today, Rolling or Nana Kisi?
Nana
Kisi's fine. Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, and then I have Violet.
Yes.
How you doing?
Doing good, thank
I like you. The gray and the locks. I don't know which one I like most. If it is the gray or the locks, because
I'm sure it's the gray.
Rastafari.
It's the gray. It's the gray.
It's the gray.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I have Ikuya Crimson as well. You're very welcome to the studio, darling.
Thank
right. Although we have smiles, I bet that at some point you either going to dim down or probably. So whatever we feel, we'll run wild with it. Okay. So we're talking about losing a loved one. And like I said earlier on, it could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be your family, anybody family, probably mom, dad, probably your child as well. So I'm going to start off by asking you to share a little bit of that experience. So you can state who you lost, and then we'll run wild with it. Do I start with you? Sure. Okay.
I lost quite a number of very dear people.
Right.
Mostly I refer to them all as mothers. I lost my biological mother as well as her sisters. Okay. And we were very close, all of them, very, very close. And that kind of takes a toll on a person. Mm-hmm. It's not a pleasant thing to go through. So we're going to discuss that today.
Okay. Hi, Violet.
Yes. As he said, I also lost my younger sister and my mom and dad.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And my mom, she stayed with me for 14 years before she passed on. So
that's really close.
It was very close. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so I lost my sister. She was 2 years older than me. Growing up, everyone thought we were twins. We were tall, skinny, fair, used to do everything together. So we were literally, tied at the hip. So yes, my sister was quite close to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's even I have to share as well. Well, I lost my dad. So this year will be 5 years. And it hits me every time because it was at a point that I had just given birth. Right, so exactly a month after I had had my second child, I lose my dad. So this is you moving from wearing white, like we all do, straight to wearing black, and you can't really, you can't switch like that. Like everybody is excited at home because there's a new member, and now one is bowing out. So it was quite difficult. Yeah. Okay, so now this is what I wanted to talk about. Can you remember something? Do you have any of that very day? Do you have any memory how the whole thing happened, or probably something that you would never forget on the day that these people passed? Anyone can take it.
Okay, so for me, I would say I was gutted on that day. That's a feeling I remember because in my mind, and as a Christian, you know that, okay, fine, I have a sister who's sick, but there's nothing that God can't do. I mean, he can heal anybody, raise the dead. So, and obviously that's my sister. She can't die, you know, she's just 23, she's young, she has her whole life ahead of her. So I remember when I heard the news, I was doing my national service at the time. So I'd gone to work, I'd been dropped off at the office. My parents dropped me off and then they headed on to Kolebu to go and see her. And so I was just going about my normal day, like, yes, my sister will be fine. I prayed about it. I can go to sleep. Everything is fine. And then about 35 minutes later, I get a call from my dad, and he just breaks it to me. She's no more. And you're just like, there's no way, you know. So I was just gutted from the depths of my soul. I was like, there's no way my sister can die. That's the feeling I remember, just being in utter shock that she had passed, yeah.
Yes, with my sister, at that time, I was in secondary school, and I think 1986. She was just 8 years. We had gone to a birthday party, a 60th birthday party, and when we were coming home, she and the one after me decided they would stay on because it was vacation for them. Then, so we left and went back home, and the Thursday morning, I had gone to school. I felt, I don't know, I was feeling sick, a feeling of something lost or something. So I came back home. I was coming home. My father is an army officer, and we lived in the barracks. He is a nurse too, so we lived in the barracks. I was coming home, and I saw my cousins from Kolegono at the emergency department in front of the, you people, what are you doing here? Didn't you go to school? And everybody was looking at me, and I was confused. I'm like, what is happening? Then one of them said, oh, a car has knocked down my sister. I said, oh, so hey, where is she? Where? I was confused. Then the other one too said, oh, she didn't make it. I said, how? And from there, I remember the next thing I remembered was we were in the house. I didn't know how I got back to the house. So the story was like, in the morning they were going to throw rubbish away at the beach side. So they had to cross the road, and they had, vehicles have stopped for them from the other opposite directions. And I heard a taxi sped, couldn't stop, sped on the pathway. I mean, at the other side, my sister had gotten there, and he took her away. That was it.
Really?
Well, so 2 years ago, my mom fell ill. My biological mom, she fell ill. It was thought to be something that wouldn't really be a big deal, but we sent her to the hospital, and she actually stayed in the hospital for about 3 months.
Oh.
So I always went to the hospital, visit her every day, before work, after work, on weekends, stay with her for as long as visiting hours would allow. And she actually started getting better, you know. She initially, we had, like myself and the family, we had a few scares. Some of her utterances, the things that we would be seeing, and we're just very hopeful that she would get better. And indeed, she started getting better. About a week. And we all thought, oh yeah, she's going to be out of here maybe in a week's time or in 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, she sort of started relapsing. But then doctors were trying to manage everything. She could still speak, and she was even hopeful. She kept asking me, do you think I'm going to go home soon? Do you think I'll be home for Christmas? It's like, sure, you'll be home for Christmas. So one morning, I went home, and as I always did then, was leaving the house to work, but to the hospital first. And then I received a call from someone at the hospital, ask if this was Nanakisi and that they wanted to talk to me. The doctor wanted to talk to me. The first question I asked was, is my mom okay? And she said, oh, the doctor just wants to talk to you, so come. At that point, I sort of felt, I felt some sort of numbness, but I didn't want to believe she had gone. She had left us. So I just kept the hope that, oh, it's probably just one of those things, but it will still play on your mind. You know, what if? Something I never wanted to experience. Lo and behold, on my way to the hospital, so I actually called an aunt of mine that this is what the hospital called to say, so if they can get to the hospital early and check what's going on, then I'll be there soon. On my way, just on the motorway, I received a call, said, you don't have to come to the hospital, just come home, and then we'll talk to you. It was there that I sort of felt it had happened.
I was really happy. Right. So I don't want to share mine. I'm just going to ask if you have any memories of these loved ones that you have lost, that you will forever hold dear. Like you can't seem to forget. You know, there could be sweet memories, like things that you've done together, that those particular things or that particular thing will, you know, always be with you. Let me start. Mine will be that my father is a very jovial person. He's always like, you know, the main person in the room that's going to make everybody laugh, you know. And even if he doesn't mean to make you laugh, there's something he's going to do that's going to make you laugh. He's serious, but there's something he's doing that's going to make you laugh. And so every time we go for a gathering, like people are always looking out for him. You know, he's the one that's going to, even for funerals, like, you know, he's the one that's going to make everybody, Agbo Ewo Mini. You get, like, he has that mindset, you know. So he's always the one that's bringing the light into the room. So that's, I'm never going to forget. But there's one thing that I hold so dear was when I was in uni, right? One time, I was, you know, you come home and you have to do registration no matter how many times you've gone to school. After going to the next semester, you have to do a registration to come back to school. And then I was back then, we were supposed to, you know, pay checks. You do the check in the bank draft and all of that. So this is me. I waited so long till today and tomorrow, you know, to go and do that. And I got there now. The bank says, no, we don't do that anymore. We take cash. And then that's the last day. Okay. So that means that if I don't do the registration today, tomorrow, I'm not going to school. So I come back. I'm like, you know, Daddy, they said they're not taking it. And he was like, how? So how are you going to do it tomorrow? Trust me, you. At exactly 7 a.m., he wakes me up. Put the money in a brown envelope. I said, get up and go. However he got the money.
You don't know.
Where he got it from, I don't know. But he didn't want me to stay home. And so I woke up and paid that. And for that reason, I don't know I'm ever going to forget him. I'm sorry. I always can't forget it because that's the atmosphere of love. He didn't say, why did you wait so long to go and pay? But he said, no, you can't stay home. So I said 7. I know the banks don't open at 7, but he kept saying, get up. You should be the first person in the bank to pay. Then you can move from the bank, go to school, do your registration, and don't come back. And I will never, ever forget that act of kindness. Although he's my father, some people would just, you know, say, why now? Yeah, so, you know. But he never, however, I still think about it. I keep asking my mom, how did my dad get that money? Between the time I told him that I couldn't pay the check till the time that I had to go to school the next morning, it is one thing I will never forget that this man did for me. That I wait. So I have shared mine. And what's that one thing or one memory of these people that you have lost? Will you always hold dear to your heart, no matter what happens or how old you get?
So this had to do with when she was in the hospital. At the time where we were very uncertain, we're scared that the worst could happen to her. I remember one time I went to visit her, and initially she couldn't even speak. You talk to her and she just answers you with her eyes, or just even turns her head so as to not look at you. And it felt like she was trying to, it felt like she didn't even want me to witness what she was going through, the pain and everything. But one morning I went to the hospital to visit her, and I could hear her voice from the hallway before I got to her room. And when I got in there, she was all joyous, singing hymns, praising God. It was very positive. I mean, I felt the sort of joy I felt in me, because I sort of felt, okay, this is a person who wasn't even talking.
But
and then
singing.
Now she's singing and she's all full of praise. They performed a number of procedures on her, and then that day was one of those procedures. So after work I went to visit her. She was in the recovery room. I was allowed to go in there, talk to her, and she was all full of joy, like, God, I thank you for letting me go through this. I thank you for my family. I thank you for my children, my nieces and nephews. And there was so much positivity there, and I felt so much joy in me, because I knew, okay, for all that she had gone through, she now even acknowledges that everything is going to be fine, everything is well. I know she knew everything was going to be well, because wherever she is now, it's all good. But I wasn't thinking, I never interpreted it as though, she was about to leave.
Any memories?
Yes, with my mom, when I got pregnant with my my last born, the pregnancy itself was a miracle. So my mom had to come and live with me. She lived with me, taking care of me throughout the pregnancy. And she said, she thinks she has to take care of me, because here I am, I didn't know I was pregnant, and I was going to go through surgery for fibroids, and they open up and it's a baby. You have to close up, and I don't have to do any hard work. So she came to stay with me. She stayed with me for 14 years, you could imagine.
Wow.
She stayed with me. My father keeps asking me, have you stolen my wife away from me, and all that. But here she is. She took care of my kids. I have 3 boys and a girl. When the last baby came, Anne-Marie was a baby. And I was completely free, going about doing my work, everything. Then she also started getting smaller, She takes my daughter to school every day. She sits in the car, takes her to school. In the afternoon, she will go and bring her back. And one day she fell at the school. And when she came back, her mouth was swollen. I said, we need to go to the hospital. Oh, it's okay, there's nothing wrong. I said, no, the way things are, I have to take her to the hospital. Then I took her to the hospital. That's when her health, her BP started going up and down and all that. That's when she started getting sick. Then I have to roll in and start taking care of my kids. I really appreciated her so much for all the hard work she did for me. Taking care of 3 boys and a girl, it's not been easy. We all loved her. Every evening, she will sit down and open her Bible. She just reads the Psalms. And what I remember most about her is in the evening, she will sit at the family room. She has a corner. And the TV there, she says it's for her. So if the children are coming, hey, go this way. And I sit there with her, just have little time with her and watch TV with her. But when she left, the house became so empty. I passed by her room. This morning, before coming, I went to her room. I went to lay on the bed. And it's not easy. Yeah.
So, I know when we talk about people we have lost, we refer to them as angels. But in hindsight, I would say I had an angel even living here on earth. And it wasn't until she had died that I really recognized that and saw that. Because she was literally the glue that brought everyone together, you know. In her alumni group, she was the one always like, you know, bringing gatherings together. Let's hang out, guys. Let's do this, let's do that, you know. Even with me, I was a bit stubborn. I'm the last one, so I was a bit stubborn, and my mom and I would butt heads sometimes, but my sister was always that glue. You know, there were times where even myself and my mom would have arguments, and 3 of us would be sitting there. And then I'm like, yes, I don't care anymore. If you don't love me, I'm saying this to my mom, I don't care. My sister's like, no, she's crying on my behalf. And I'm even like, hey, like, what's going on here, you know? It's like, don't say that, Erica, don't say that. She was literally an angel who cared for everyone around her. And it showed. At her funeral, there were massive numbers of people there, you know, and it's only that time I realized, you know, my sister was actually an angel. People loved her, and her heart was just something else, you know. She would call me. We were both doing a national service. She offered French in school, so we graduated at the same time. So she'll call me after work on her way home. Erica, what are you eating? You know, even in the night before the following day, she's like, Erica, what are we eating tomorrow for breakfast? I'm like, but why? Like, you know, let tomorrow come, you know, that kind of thing. But she always looked out for me, you know, with her friends. Even till today, some of her friends all over the world still reach out to me, help me and my children in so many different ways. And it always reminds me of how much she was to me. She was more than a sister. I mean, she was a sister to everyone, and everyone can bear witness to the fact that Amma was that loving friend. So I'm just glad to have spent, you know, when somebody dies, your initial emotion is sometimes you're numb, and then you get angry with God. You're like, why? Like, why did this person die? This person is good. They have a good heart. Why did they die? But it's only until you realize, you reflect and you realize, I actually had this person. I got to know this person. I was privileged to have this person in my life, to experience them in this life's journey. So then you become grateful for that journey that you had with them. So for me, countless memories. It's just her heart I remember in everything I do.
Right. Okay, so we're going to come back to all these memories. I bet that now that to this point that you have watched the show, you have memories. It's either you're solemn, you're going back to all the nice times that you shared with anyone or all the loved ones that you have lost. We'll take a little break so I can wipe off my face. We'll take a little break. I'll be right back. You're still on the Friends and Family Show. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the Friends and Family Show. And this evening we're discussing, you know, losing a loved one. So the journey through, how you felt, and the memories that you would hold dear to your heart. You can be part of it. I see that you're sharing your messages with me or your experiences with me. I'm going to take a few messages real quick and then we'll go back to our conversation. Now, this one here says, hey, I lost my brother to liver sickness last year and my life has never been the same. We were only 2 and he meant the world to me. Imagine being only alone in this world. My parents passed earlier, so we were just for each other. Now that's tough.
Yes.
I am Zakia from East Legon Hills. I lost my dad in December 2018 when I was almost due for my second child. I actually gave birth 3 days after his demise. On the day of his funeral rites in line with Islam, I still haven't gotten over it. He was my best friend and I think of him every single day. So this one says, great discussion. I completed JSS in 1997. And on my return to Inyam, Maine, in the Central Region, Ejumako, my only sister was sick and being sent to MDCC at Dominase. I visited her and we came home together. And on one night, I was called that she wants to see me, and that's all. This one here says, oh, losing a loved one. How I lost my mom when I was in SHS. Hey, this day I can never forget. May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Hello, now. This is Roberta from TikTok this morning, suggesting we extend the time. Yeah, right? Today's on the 1 hour straight. Others will cry for the next hour. Well, I'll look into that. So, lots of messages are coming through, actually. This one's quite lengthy, but I'll take it. This is Baba from Takoradi. Says, I still remember the day I lost my dad like it was yesterday, Sunday, 19th January 2020. That morning, he was behaving funny. Asked my mom for different foods. I remember him asking for sliced tomatoes and avocado to be added to his breakfast. Then he asked for soup, and he ate all. And we even laughed at him for eating that much. Few minutes after, I heard my mom calling his name loudly. So my brother and I rushed in, and minutes after, I heard my mom calling his name loudly, okay. And he was kind of in a trance with his eyes wide opened. We had to shake him, and he came back to himself. Then it happened again. So he had to be rushed to the hospital. Apparently, he died on our way, and I didn't know. But my brother did, because he said our dad's grip on his hand loosened when he didn't tell me, and he didn't tell me. At the hospital, he was put in a wheelchair and taken to the emergency, but no one was attending to him. Then later, they put him on a stretcher and pulled a cloth over him, covering his head. I was like, what? Why are you covering his head? The man is not dead. That was when his friend who was around held me and said, Mommy, your dad is gone. He did before we got here. I went mad at the Fia Nkwanta emergency. I was literally melting out of the man's arms onto the floor. My brother and the man couldn't control me. After that day, I cried every night till the day I found out I was pregnant. And that was like a couple of months after he died. I told myself he was coming back to us, so no need to cry again. We all wanted a boy, so we would name him after him, but I had a girl. And she's as tough as my dad and looks like him. My daughter made me forget the pain, but I still remember all the moments with my dad. That's quite lengthy, but very, intense. So this is what we're going to do now. Was there any moment in the time that, you're going through grief that anybody said anything to upset you? Or anybody said anything and you thought that, oh, that's some kind of form of kindness? Would you remember around that time that, everybody is around you? Definitely people are going to step on your nerves. I think I did a whole lot of that, especially when you go for meetings. And with the guys, it is when someone is dead that people are going to show their crashy powers, you get. And I don't understand why, because when he was there, nobody came around to bring him a slice of bread. So what is if we don't talk, then it won't happen thing. So I know definitely I stepped on lots of toes, and I'm going to say it in camera. I still don't care, because the man was actually living his life. It is there that you come to enjoy you know, now that you say, I feel okay, Wakalaya be about Fulaya be more sky here, dear Boshikani. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's going to bury this person has their own money. And you that you're sitting on the side, like, oh, we cool fuel and the care. But you know, we like that you suggest to us, but you don't tell me, because this is my father. Yeah. You know, they say, quite affluent. One statement, actually, I will never forget, was we decided to bury him in Tema. Because he spent most of his life in Sakumono. So we wanted to do somewhere that was really close, that people know him. Enough people can go to the funeral grounds and then to the cemetery. Then they say, no. Where he's from, he has to be buried in Osu Cemetery. We would have agreed if the statement was put right. But this is this woman looking at me and saying, to say that if you bury him in Tema, we've taken him from the midst of human beings. You get, I was pissed, so I said, no way. What jail egg be my thing? Many can't be no nefe boy na come for Jane. You get what I'm saying? So we're gonna do that. So one statement that actually got me upset was that. And then to the kindness bit, people will come to you and say, we know he was a good man. You know, or your father was a gentleman. You get? That actually brightens your day a little, because at least people know he was a great man. Yeah. So you walk around, although he's dead, but that will put a little smile on your face. So I just want you to go back memory lane. If you can remember one statement that anybody said that put a smile on your face, or someone did something, so oh, that's from kindness. Or someone actually put you in my mood like I told them off. Yeah. You remember anything?
Well, fortunately, for me, it was everyone around me, the sort of support, the words of encouragement that I used to receive in that moment. It was all positive. It was mostly positive. I remember just on the day that my mom passed on, my brother and I went back to the hospital to, to check that everything is well. And he's actually my cousin, but I have always referred to him as my brother because we were raised as siblings. He showed me so much support. He was very he was point blank because he had gone through it before. So just when he heard it, he decided to always stick with me that day, whatever I do. He was the one that was forcing me to eat. He was the one that was he didn't even want me to do anything that he felt would sort of break me down on that day. And he said to me, you know what, this happens, it happens. This is the moment that would prove that this is the moment that should tell you that you have to step up. Because then I had become a father. My son was just a year old, and said you have to be strong for him, for the family. And I think that went a long way to help me deal, accept, because I was actually upset. The day it happened, I was actually upset, blaming a lot of things. Myself, I was asking questions about God. Why did she deserve this? But he sort of sat me down and told me, look, it happens. It's part of it. You should be grateful that even in her last moments, the time that you spent with her, all the time that I'd been going to the hospital, he just asked me to recount them, the memories. Like I said, the day I saw her singing, the joy, he reminded me that, you see, these are some of the things that you keep forever. You should keep. And then
relax.
Yes. this is still with my mom. It's when she started feeling sick, take her to the hospital. Actually, it was my father wanted a birthday party, and we had organized. I'm the. I mean, the 5 of us, 3 boys and 2 girls, and 1 passed. So it looks like I was the only girl. So I organized with my brothers, and we were going to have a party on a Saturday for my dad, his 70th birthday. Then my mom fell sick again on a Friday, like dawn, going on. Yes. So I took her to the hospital and called my brothers, and I told them, Charlie, we have to postpone this. Then they're like, how can we call all the guests and tell them this? I said, we have to do it. So at the hospital, she was like, I don't like parties. And parties take people away. If you do a party, something bad will happen. She's referring to the party that my little sister died after. Oh. So she doesn't like parties. So whenever we want to do something, her birthday is in May, so we will say, oh, we are doing Mother's Day. Meanwhile, it's her birthday. Then she'll be like, you people, what you are doing, I know what you people are doing. But as I go to the hospital to and fro, the things she'll be saying, she will say, Akos, I want you to take care of your brothers, especially the one after me. Come on, Onyemi Ohami. Then I'm like, what are you saying? She will be looking for her phone. What do you want? Nintauma Trafredi. I want to, all that passed. Got to a point, I could see she was slipping. I couldn't hold on to it again. I came out of the ward. I didn't want her to see what was happening. I came out of the ward, went outside, went to sit. It was evening. I went to sit under a tree. I was crying and praying, and I don't know what I was really doing. Then a nurse or a doctor came to me and said, your mom is not happy what you are doing. It's as if you are blocking her from going to her maker. I said, what does she mean?
This one me, I can beat you for saying.
Swear down.
But anyway, she consoled me in a way, and she quoted some scriptures and all that. I calmed down, and I came back. And my brothers were there, so we needed to transfer her to a bigger hospital. She said no, she wouldn't go. If she goes, she would die. Oh. Then I'm like, why? But she needed to do the surgery. I don't know whether it was 50-50 or what. So, brothers, what do we do? Should we let her do it, or we should go home? Then the younger one is like, yeah, decide. I'm with you. So we decided 50-50, we'll go for it. Grandma heard everything, my mom heard everything, and she's like, just let me go home and give me cocoa to drink, I'll be okay. I said, how can you have tubes in your nose and all that. Where would you put the cocoa? And that early morning, we have to refer her to Rich Hospital. An ambulance took her, and as we were going, she's like, oh. My heart, I don't. And at the hospital, a doctor was waiting for us. Meanwhile, the one who was supposed to take us took us to the 4th floor. We were supposed to go to the emergency. And when we got there, apparently they've prepared the theater already.
Oh,
and the
so
nurses
it took a while.
The nurses too were busy doing things. The doctor came back and said, "What are you people doing? I'm waiting for you here." It took her. She went in, came back. I mean,
we'll come back to that. I'll take a few messages and come to you. I lost my uncle one hot afternoon when I was coming back from uni. I remember how that felt like. I still feel waves of sadness every single time I think about him. He was my favorite uncle. He randomly comes to mind and everything comes back to me. Like I won't be able to hug him again. I can't see him again. I can't go to the house again. He won't buy my favorite salad for me again. This is Mina from Labadi. Well, we ask all these questions. When can I see you again? So you mean that, sometimes some people have similar perfumes. Like they walk past you and you go like, oh, someone actually does something. You go like, oh, my dad could have done that. Or this person usually behaves like this. Hi, Na, I am crying now. I miss my grandma every day. It's been 6 years. She was our pillar. Her legacy still lives on. This is Ronnie and Tema. I lost my mom on the 4th of May, 2025. Oh, that's fresh. She died of end-stage kidney failure. She was my everything. The pains my dad, siblings, and I are going through can't be explained. It feels fresh each day. She was a good mom, a good sister, and a good neighbor. We pray God keeps her well and may she rest in perfect peace. We love her. Amen. I lost my granny in 2023. Even though given befitting burial, it still gets to me anytime I'm in the closet. I want to heal, but I can't. The Latin Sakumano. Now we're going to talk about how to heal. They say that definitely death is inevitable. You don't know when it will come knocking on your door or anybody that's really close. But how do we deal with grief? Everybody's got their own way of dealing with it. I usually will stand in the mirror and cry it out and come out like nothing has happened. I usually would like to be in a good space, in a space where people are excited. And it is for one reason I'm an excited person, or I'm excited all the time. That's because I look back and I say that if he's looking down on me, I don't think that he'd want me to be, sad, because this person who I'm grieving is actually a very, exciting person, like the light in every room, you understand. So why are you doing the opposite? But we're human beings. You can't take that away from us. The memories will definitely come through, and then you would have to decide. Today, someone made a statement like, I'm in charge of my own emotions. So if you say something silly to me, I'm the one supposed to decide if I have to say something back or walk away. So I feel that it's in that sense as well, that when it hits you, you have a way of, letting the memory or that pain go away. So now let's talk about how to, or the best way. Or I still think it's relative, but then the most important things to do when you get into that position where pain is just gripping your heart. How do you deal with this pain, or how do you deal with this grief? You want to take it?
Okay, so I think sometimes you just have to cry it out if you have to. There's nothing you can really do about the pain. Because I remember for me, when my sister died, I was in denial for like the longest. And when you're in the midst of people, it seems like, okay, oh, you're fine, you're chatting, you're okay. And then you go and sleep at night and it's just you and you're just like, this actually happened. This person is gone. You bawl your eyes out, you're crying like, God, why did this ever happen? But I think what we can do is we can hold on to the memories we had, and also appreciate the life they lived. I feel like that's the only way to carry on. But it's fine to cry, because I do cry sometimes, especially when you go through things in life and you're like, if this person was here, we're here, they would comfort me or they would understand me, because grieving can be lonely, trust me. You feel like people can console you, but they don't really get what you're feeling. That's how you feel, So for me, that's what I think. I think sometimes you just have to let it all out and cry if you have to. But as a Christian, I always pick myself up and say, hey, I'm going to see her someday. This isn't the end for us. So that's what I use to console.
I think sometimes we take it out on people
Yes.
without even knowing. I, for once, I would have to apologize to my husband for it's been 5 years. I take it out on him. And, you know, on days that I can't do it, and he does something that's, you know, I'm just supposed to look away. I go like, my dad wouldn't have done this, you know? And then he goes quiet and goes like, why'd you keep comparing me? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But then I always look at it in that way that, you know, this man would have, you know, just brushed things off. And you take it out on somebody. They don't understand, but you're the only one that is feeling that, Charlie, if this man was here, things would have been easier. You know, if this person was here, things would have been better in this way. We are sorry if we take it out on you, but grief, we can't explain. It never goes away, I think. It never does. But do you have any way that you know, let it all go? Probably decide to play music or something.
You cry it out.
You cry
first.
it out.
Yes, but at a point you look at the person's life. My dad is almost like your dad. He's a very jovial person. He had coded words for everything.
That's one. And songs for every situation.
That's it. So that's what comes to mind when you are doing something and you get the code. You say, oh, daddy would have said this, daddy would have done this, oh, at this moment he's telling me this or that. So when you have the feeling of them
being around,
it calms you down.
Right.
And also you have the support of the family. I mean, your husband, your kids around. My little girl, I didn't know she was that strong. She will come around, Mommy, it is well.
Nice.
And I ask myself, when does she cry?
You know,
the mommy crying like that.
But
you know,
anyway,
the family around you also hold you together. That's it.
Right. So I wish that we could do this over and over, extend the time and go on and speak some more, but this is how far we can go. And I'm really going to thank you for agreeing to come and share this part that is really tough, that we don't usually, it's never written on our faces, but we go home, we put our heads on our pillow, and then we just cry. But before I go away, I'm just going to say that if there's anything that you can do for people who are living with you now, who are here now, you said love them like you're going to lose them tomorrow, or you're losing them today. So in that way, when they leave, it's quite softer and all of that. So love people now before you give them their flowers when they're dead. Okay, darling? Thank you so very much for being a part of the show. My name is Noyo Korte, and this has been Friends and Family Show. I will be back tomorrow, same time. Please be part of the show. My love to you always. Mwah.